right, welcome back, everyone, for a new episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is going to be for New Comic Book Day, September 13th, 2023. I am sorry this is running late, but as you guys know, I was in Baltimore this past weekend, so that dropped me back and behind on all my complete schedule. I couldn't get everything done that I wanted to get done as it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend. A lot of fun, a lot of stories. Make sure you come by tomorrow for the tax show, and we'll share a bunch of stories with you guys, as well as some new and exciting news for the channel. So, before we get to all of that, I still want to sneak out this Wednesday watch list, which is my look ahead to the books coming out this week. And I know I'm getting it in right on here under the wire Tuesday night, but hopefully you don't mind. It's a little bit late, but it's still a good little heads up on some of the stuff to go and look for when you hit your shop tomorrow. So, if you want to see what books I've got my eye on this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so let's get this started. I might run this through a little quick. I'll run through this a little quickly this week because, like as I said, I'm doing this kind of last minute, and yeah, I want to get this out as soon as possible. I mean, it's already after 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, and I'm recording this, and I gotta edit it and get it out to you guys as soon as I'm done. But with that all said, let's get to this week's Buzz books. These are the books that I think had some significant buzz heading into the week, and whether it be sales, FOC lists, people talking about them well before the release, and they are finally hitting shelves tomorrow. The first book being the Werewolf by Night special. Now I know you're wondering, like, well, it's Elsa Bloodstone. Yes, she still has a bit of a fan following. There's still a little bit of heat around her, even following last year's Werewolf by Night one-shot show on Disney Plus, which I think was excellent, by the way. And I hope they do it again, but we'll see. Hollywood strike and all. But this is the cover price cover A. This really isn't the one that folks are chasing, though. But there are a couple other good covers. We got a B cover here that looks almost like a pulp digest kind of thing, and then we do have an Adam Hughes trade dress version there as well. Now, a book like this, it's a one shot, also has incentives, as you might guess. And well, I like one, but I'm not a huge fan of the other. First one being the 1 in 25. This is a Bill Sienkiewicz Werewolf by Night cover. I just don't love this one. I know. I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be, I guess a werewolf, but to me, I only see Rocket Raccoon. I just can't not see Rocket Raccoon. So I don't know if this. I don't know, but hey, I get it. Wolves aren't that easy to draw, I guess, for everybody. But we've seen them drawn before. I don't know. Just looks really really a lot like a fox or a raccoon. I don't know. Whatever. But there's that 1 in 25. It's not actually doing all that well on the aftermarket yet. No pre-sales really heating things up, so it's right around that ratio mark. But the 1 in 50 had a little bit of interest going into FOC, etc. So this is a virgin version of that Adam Hughes cover. A lot of people were buying this sight unseen for double ratio, more than ratio weeks and even months ago. Recent sales, however, you can see here this 1 in 50 has hit double, $100, $68, $70, all above that $50 ratio mark, and asking prices at the time of when I cut this, which I think was Sunday, so it might be a little dated. I didn't have the time to update it, but still, as low as 62, a high of like 100, and then you can see that 135, but that one also includes the 1 in 25, as well as that, I guess, the C cover, the other Adam Hughes trade dress version of the variant. So still, right on that double ratio mark is what people are asking. Who knows where this will land once this hits shelves tomorrow and more copies hit the market, but we'll see how this all shakes out once Wednesday hits. I did pre-order this for myself because I am a Hughes fan, and I do think I did pay close to that ratio mark, which I don't normally do. But I did in this case because, well, I just wanted it, and I did it sight unseen, as many did. I think I might have paid like 60 or 65 bucks for it. I don't know, but it was a 1 in 50, and I figured, well, I'll take a shot. It looks pretty good to me. I kind of dig it, so I'll get it when it gets here. That said, oh, I forgot. There is still a 1 in 100 higher ratio incentive here, which is the black and white version of that cover A. Now, this one also has some early pre-sales that we can look at here, with it going right around that ratio mark at about 110 with recent sales. And asking prices around that $110 mark, as well as another ask that was looking for 250, which could be a little bit of fishing, but they're going to try to get what they can get. I mean, it is what it is. I think this one kind of hovers around that ratio mark. Even Midtown still had copies of the Hughes, which is the one in 50 at $90, and they had this one in 100 also at $90. So they had them both priced the same when I last looked. Again, I think that was like Sunday morning or Sunday after, actually Sunday afternoon. But who knows where they're at now if they still have copies, but that is what I was noticing. So probably close to that ratio mark on this for the black and white 1 in 100. That 250, I think that's a little bit of dreaming, and I think it's just a little bit of fishing.
Go fishing.
But hey, nothing wrong with that. If you're a seller, you go ahead and try to get what you can get. As a buyer, you don't have to buy anything. You can just look and keep on walking. With that said, another book this week that I found interesting is this Sonic, the 900th Adventure. This is a one-shot. $8 cover price on this bad boy. So it's going to be a little bit oversized here, this one shot. And there are multiple covers on it as well. This is the cover A. We got some other covers here as well. It is what it is. It's IDW. They're going to get you as many covers as they can, including a 1 in 10, which, it's okay. I forget the pink girl's name. It's drawing a blank. She's been around in the comics for a bit, and it's probably a good character to look out for her first appearance. In case future Sonic movie appearances, you never know. That said, there is also 1 in 25, which has Knuckles on it and Tails, and this one actually is doing okay for a 1 in 25 from IDW. It is selling for above ratio right now. You can see copies pre-selling for $60 to $90 for a 1 in 25. And then asking prices around that $85 to $90, which ain't too shabby for 1 in 25 for a Sonic book. But I think the king of the castle here in this case is going to be the 1 in 50, which we don't see all that often, but IDW does it every once in a while, and we have seen them do it before on Sonic, and it hit before, and it looks like this one might hit again, because how many places are ordering 50 copies of an $8 one-shot? Probably not many. But with that all said, there were early pre-sales of this book selling for $130 and one that sold for $250. Now, since I made this deck, and there were none asking at the time I did this Sunday afternoon, since I made this, I did notice, because I was looking at it earlier today, trying to keep track, didn't update the materials here, but there have been a couple of more pre-sales, a couple in that like $130 kind of range. So it's not quite as high as that 250, which has actually appeared to be a solid real sale. There have been others in that kind of like 125 kind of mark since then. Not many, but still a couple more copies. And that's kind of be where this one might settle. But for 1 in 50 before release, that's not too bad. We'll see what happens tomorrow when this hits shelves, and maybe even where it might end up on a possible CBSI Hot 10 list. But we'll see. That said, those are books that I was keeping an eye on in particular because of some early buzz on them. With that, let's move on to some new number ones. So this week, there are actually a lot of new number one issues, and I couldn't even fit them all in this segment because some of them have to hit other spots, but we'll run through it. As you guys know, I like to categorize things. So starting off with new number ones, we are going to hit up Dark Horse with the alternates. Yeah, well, I'm getting all tongue-tied here for whatever reason. Seems kind of interesting. A few covers on here. There's the cover A. Then we're also got a cover B, a cover C. And if you didn't notice that subtle change in the middle, that is a foil version of that cover A. So Dark Horse is getting on that foil train like everybody else and charging a little bit more to get you that foil. Actually, no, I think they're going with the same $4.99. They're actually not charging you more like some other places, but we'll get to that in a minute. There is another cover on this, the FOC cover. It's a pretty cool one right there in the middle, as well as a 1 in 10 for this new Dark Horse title. So keep an eye on that. I was looking, nothing really pre-selling as far as like, uptick in, cost, but it's just a book to keep an eye out for if you want to check it out and read it. Another book that's got a new number one coming out is Negaduck. Now, I'm a Darkwing Duck fan. Can't keep up with the current run because of the number of covers. And yeah, if you guessed that there are a lot of covers for this Negaduck number one, well, you're right. There are way too many covers for me to cover and share with you. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you there are a bunch. This is cover A. There's a whole pile more if you're interested. They're out there. Dynamite, I just can't. Can't do it. Too many. Too many covers. Just too many. That said, if you like weird stuff and if you like anthropomorphic characters, well, we got you covered. Alligator Loki. Yeah, for whatever reason, we're getting an Alligator Loki comic book. I know people thought it was kind of funny in the Loki show last year, and we're getting season 2 starting in a couple of weeks. But I don't know if we really need this comic, but we got it anyway. So Alligator Loki, there's cover A. There's a Scotty Young as well as just another variant cover with him holding Mjolnir. Yeah, kind of fun. If you're into it, you don't want like a offshoot of the Pet Avengers or whatever. Here's your book. You're a big Jeff the Land Shark fan. You like reading about marvelized animals. There you go. That said, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you want something a little bit darker, Creepshow Volume 2 is also starting this week. I really dig this kind of stained glass window kind of thing here in the middle with the little creepy skeleton baby. I know it's spooky. Would have been in the creepy covers had I continued to do them, but we're not doing it this week. Other covers here. That's actually, I think, the B cover. The cover A has, the little kid reading the Creepshow comic. And then we also have a 1 in 10 that looks like it's like glow in the dark or a blacklight version. But it's a 1 in 10. It's not too bad. If you can go and find that one, I'd take a look at that too, because it's a pretty cool cover with those cool colors. Another, I don't know why there was a little hiccup there, but Bloodborne. Bloodborne also has a new #1 starting this week, a new mini for the Bleak Dominion. A lot of covers on this thing as well. There's a cover A, and then we got B's and C's, and with these creepy spiders, and then we got the D's, E's, and even F's. None of these are incentives. They're just 6 different covers for this book. Kind of unnecessary if you ask me, but it is what it is. Pick your favorite if you want to check it out and see what happens, because collecting all these is a little bit much, if you ask me. You want collectors to pay for 6 different covers for the same book. That's too much. It's too much. It's not cool, man. That's it. Reading list. Stuff that I want to actually read. So what's going to be at the top of my pile when I get my books this week? Well, for one, I'm interested in this new Avengers series. I know Avengers have been very, very hit and miss over the years, and they lose steam pretty quickly, at least for me. I'll start reading them. Oh, new writer, new direction, etc. And then after a couple issues, I get bored. Fair enough. But this one has a little bit of a different angle. Avengers Incorporated, they're going with more of like a detective kind of vibe, detective kind of story. So, murder mystery, if you will. I'm kind of into it. So, we'll see what happens. We've got, Vision, showing up with Wasp. Going to be interesting. We have a bunch of covers here as well. We're going to scatter a couple of these outside of this segment because they fit in other categories. So, we're going to look at a couple of the other ones. The Saturday morning variant is pretty cool. I like those. They kind of look like those cartoon ads from back in the day. And then we got a couple other regular cover price variants for this book as well. That's it. And I think there's also incentives, but there's nothing really going on much with those at this time either. But another book that I'm looking forward to is another new #1 for Daredevil. While we probably don't need another new #1, Daredevil probably has as many #1s as Spider-Man at this point, or Punisher. I don't know. Way too many volumes. It's hard to keep track of them all. But the other run ended. New run is beginning. So we get it with a brand new #1. I like the Ramita cover. Looks pretty good. There's a pretty cool Aaron Cooter, I think, doing the that black and white cover. Portatio doing this bullseye facing Daredevil. There's a lot of cool covers on this one, including, well, maybe not a cool, but we're getting a what do you call it? Frank Miller, another squatting cover. What is what it is. He's been, like I said, he's been hit and miss. This was not for me. It's just kind of fits back in with those other ones. But there is a foil in the middle if you're into that, as well as Ikajur. I'm having a hell of a time pronouncing some of these artists' names these days, but pretty cool looking cover there as well. These are all the cover price ones. Well, the foil, it costs you a little bit more, but there are incentives as well. 2 of these will get the Virgin treatment to be 1 in 100s, as you'll see them bookended on the outside, as well as a 1 in 25 there in the middle. Nothing really doing as far as crazy sales or high prices so far, so everything's right around that ratio mark at this time. We'll see what happens come Wednesday, but these are covers that you can go and look out for if you're interested. I just want to read the damn thing. So I can't remember which one of the other covers I asked for. I might have asked for the Bullseye one, but we'll see. We'll see. That said, Children of the Vault has issue 2 coming out for their 4-issue mini. Want to read this? Interested? Unlike in the new direction. Well, it's new. I should say it's new. So I'm still interested in the new direction in the X books. So I'm still on board for now. Read issue 2 of Children of the Vault. I've been really enjoying the Incredible Hulk run. Philip Kennedy Johnson doing a hell of a job here. So Hulk looks like he's going to be fighting Man-Thing. Issue 4, another book I can't wait to get tomorrow. There are a couple other covers. There's basically a cover A here, Stormbreaker's cover, and a 1 in 25 on this one. Again, I didn't notice any crazy sales there on that 1 in 25, but it's worth keeping an eye on, and I'm just showing you the covers so you know what to look for. That said, we're going to move on now, from the reading list over to the later printings. So here we go with the later prints, and these will include facsimiles because we're going to start there. We are getting a Batman #1 facsimile cover. So classic. What is this? 1939, 1940, 41, somewhere in there. I can't remember specific. I think it's 40 or 41. Not 100%, but #1 spring issue. Actually, I think it might be 41. Batman #1. Healthy $6.99 cover price on this facsimile. That's a bit steep to me, but you guys keep buying them. I guess they're going to keep making them. A little more concerning, though, is that they're giving us more than this. I don't know if you noticed the price change, but they are also giving us a shiny foil version. And for that one, they want $8.99. So, $2 more to get it foil because God knows your 1940s comics had all the foil in the world. I don't see why this needs foil. I don't see how this is going to help this cover look better. I like the very simple reds and yellows here, and the characters pop off because of that. I guess throw foil on it, but really, $8.99 for a reprint? Whatever. If you don't think that's bad, how about this? Blank cover. $7.99. So they take out Batman and Robin, but we get the background, we get the trade dress, which is cool. Mind you, I like having that little area for remarks and artists to draw something in there. Absolutely, I think it's a pretty cool look. But why is it $7.99? The one that has all the art on it is only $6.99, and if you want foil, is $8.99. Why is this one in the middle $7.99? Seriously. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess it is what it is. So if you want it, it's $8. I'm not touching it. But we do have some other later printings. We have a second print for that Shadow Cat Ninja, whatever the heck she became in X-Men 25. This is a new look for Kitty Pryde, but it gets second print treatment. Just a recolored version of one of the regular covers. No incentive on this one, just this book alone. However, we do have a few Marvel incentive second prints, so buckle up. Hellfire Gala, second printing. They're just putting a bloody X on that regular cover to give you the second print. That's actually kind of cool. I don't mind that for the second print. That's the change. You put the bloody X there. I think that's actually kind of fun. I like it. But I don't think I needed the 1 in 25 incentive that just took that Campbell art and made it black and white. To me, this is not necessary. But you guys keep buying them and pre-buying them, so they keep making them because dealers keep pre-selling them to you. So they keep pre-selling these books for these crazy high amounts, a 1 in 25 pre-selling for like $70. It's worth it for them to order enough because they're going to get their money back. And then you're shelling out the bucks to buy it. They're going to keep doing it. Asking price of 125. That's just
go fishing.
Hey, hopefully they get it, but I don't see it. That said, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of these, but I'm going to run through them anyway. We are also getting a second print for What If Dark Spider-Gwen #1, which very subtle. They flip-flop the color in the trade dress. You see that? The pinks and the blacks? They flip-flop the lights and the darks. Bravo. Well, I probably don't need this one as far as getting this cover goes. And if you want it, well, guess what? The incentive is a recolored version of that rose beige cover. Yes, there was also a virgin version of that pinky magenta fuchsia colored one, but with trade dress now there's a blue version that is the incentive variant on the second print. As you might imagine, people got to have it. So somebody out there threw a whopping $150 down on a 1 in 25 pre-sale on a 1 in 25 incentive on this book. Whatever. Whatever. Oh, sorry. I don't know why that Hulk is there. That should just been deleted. I didn't see anything uplisted at this time, but I'm sure there probably is something now because we're leading right into Wednesday. So I know I'm running behind, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep rolling as if you guys didn't see that little mistake because I don't have time to fix it. Moving on. Death of the Venomverse #1 is also a recolored. This is now Marvel getting lazy. They used to at least use interior art to give you something new on the second prints. I was okay with that. Now they're going back to the days of, hey, let's just change the color of the trade dress. Not as into that if you want to throw second prints, because now they're just doing that just so they could sell you this, which is reused art on their 1 in 25s. Because they decide, you know what? Let's just make a virgin version of a cover that nobody likes in the first place. I don't know. These really seem pointless. Who really wants this? I mean, if you do, tell me in the comments. Explain to me why the other. Why they're one homaging so many times the other. I get it. There was a lot of Spider-Man covers, but do we need all these Venoms too? Do we need them? And then when you take the trade dress off, then you lose the connection to what you're homaging. So why do we need this? Whatever. That said, another crazy pre-sale. Best offer on $195. They accept $190. And there was one listed for $175. Yeah, for a 1 in 25 incentive on these second prints. I don't know. They're not for me, but God bless you if you're collecting them. Just be mindful of your wallet. It's because I don't know. These prices, man. It's a bit much. That's it. Let's keep it moving. Let's get on to the not great section. Going in the not great section here because, well, it kind of fits because I'm not a huge fan of the incentive second prints. So I'm already in that kind of not great feeling kind of mood. And we are talking about Venom. And Venom has an issue 25 coming out tomorrow. And again, they're dropping a foil on us. My problem with it isn't the foil. Hey, I talked with buddy Brucifer. He is telling me how much he likes the foils. And God bless him. He wants to go and buy the foils. Go ahead. They're not for me. But I'm not going to besmirch anybody else who's going to buy them. I'm just going to question if this is cool by you. The fact that the regular cover for Venom 25 is already $8. Why are you cool paying $14 for a foil version? Just they slap some foil on a cover. You could buy an entire another comic or two for that price. I don't know. I mean, it'll probably look kind of cool with the pinks and the purples and the blue, whatever in the foil. Probably will come out looking nice. I just this upcharge is getting ridiculous. $7.99 to $13.99. Come on now, it's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Moving on. Another thing I'm not a huge fan of is why are we still getting Wonder Woman War of the Gods reprints for this 4-issue mini? Why are we getting reprints of this? And why are they $5? Like, what is, I don't get it. Like, why do we need this? There's got to be something coming. Maybe this ties into something DC is planning on doing soon with the War of the Gods. I don't know specifically. I'm behind on my DC stuff. If you know why they're reprinting this series, please let me know. But even if you do know, why are people paying $5 for reprints of this book when you could go and buy the entire goddamn original miniseries for $5? Right. Yes, I know that's an old sale price back in July, but still, point being, you could dig the War of the. I've found so many War of the Gods in dollar bins. You can find this for less than $4.99. That's all I'm saying. And get the original one. You don't need the reprint facsimile version or whatever this is. I don't know. It's just I don't like it. And again, I'm just not a huge fan of these chibi covers. We're getting more of them, so they're coming. I get it. I don't know if this is not so much not great. I didn't want to make a whole new section for this, but this is just kind of it's just not for me. That's all. Just not for me. I get it if you like it. I see it's better than most like other those weird little side redos they do covers. Like it's, I mean, it's not as cool as the Scotty Youngs to me, but yeah, I get it. I guess it's just not for me. That's all. That said, let's keep rolling into the homage section. We still got a few homages to go through here. We're going to start off with a couple of album covers. So this Madness book, The Madness, issue 2 of 6, has this pretty creepy cover here. And then you go, why does that look familiar? Well, if you're a fan of the Cramps, that's why. So there you go. Bad music for bad people, mad revenge on bad heroes. All right. Well, AWA, pretty fun doing these album cover homages. Also, not to be left out, Image is also doing it with Something Epic. So Something Epic has this Corn homage. We've seen this one before, but here it is again. Still pretty well done. You know, doing the McFarlane. The album art was McFarlane, so yeah, I get it. It's kind of cool. And as you know, Something Epic also has been doing the movie theater posters. So even on this same issue, which I think is issue 5 or something like that at this point, they're doing Hook as well. Oh, if you didn't see it here. So there's your movie one. So they did an album, and they're doing a movie. Sometimes they've been doing double movies. Here we got one of each. Whatever. Another indie doing movie theater poster is Sins of the Salton Sea. If you look at it, I knew it was familiar. It took me a second to remember which cover this was, but it was The Shining, as you could see here. So pretty well done. Doing The Shining. Pretty cool homage there. Also, not to be left out, Dark Ride. As you know, Dark Ride has been doing these 1 in 25 Disney homages on their incentives. Not to be outdone, issue 8, they are still going. And here we have a Lion King. So there you go. Pretty cool Lion King. This one, as most of these have gone, this has been standardized as just being like a double ratio kind of thing. All these Dark Ride books come out of the gate selling around $40 to $50. And this one, well, they were pre-sold for $30. But as I said, the asking prices are close to that $50. We'll probably settle somewhere in between in that $40 range come tomorrow and Thursday. But we'll see. We'll see how it does. Shifting over to the comic homage section of things, we are getting Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, which is a new #1. I thought about putting it, but that segment was already kind of long to begin with. There are a lot of covers here as well, but I decided to cover this book by showing off the Captain America 1 homage here. So that's why it ended up in this section and not in the new #1 section. Also, we did show this in the reading portion of our program, but Avengers Incorporated also has another classic Avengers book here featuring Cap with Avengers #4 when Cap joins the team. Yeah. I don't know why we need this homage on this book, but they did it. So there it is. Like I said, because the title has nothing to do with these characters. It's, well, I mean, Wasp is in it, but it's more, it does, I don't know, it doesn't fit the vibe, but they did it anyway. That said, this book is also going to kick off our next segment as well, because there is yet another variant that it has with Avengers Incorporated. And this time we're going to hit it up for the Interlocking Cover Lover section of the program, which is another piece of the Ross mural. I think there have only been 2 so far. So Avengers Incorporated, I think, gives us the 3rd piece. Maybe the 4th one is rolled. Maybe they came out of order. I'm not sure. But as you can see, this is in that kind of like 3rd quarter of this huge image of all these Avengers characters. Pretty cool. They've run through on a couple of other Avengers books, but I think we got at least one more coming. And if you've been following, last week we had the Dark Droids. We're getting another Dark Droids cover. This time it's on Vader 38, and it just kind of fits in here across the 6. They're like the second half. I don't know. It doesn't connect where the last week's issues are, so that's why I didn't do that whole connecting thing, but it's in there. So you want all these droids, you got to get all these books listed down below to get that full image. Wrap it up because we're almost done. We're going to get into just the covers. As you've noticed, I've already talked about a lot of covers and a lot of books in the other sections. So covers is going to be pretty light at this point. And we start off with the Hispanic Heritage Month book for this week. Another Lobos cover. I like it. Kyle Rayner. Pretty cool. I think I like these. I do like these. I'm probably going to do a short covering these pretty soon. But I like these. Venom 25. I was hemming and hawing about that foil book. I also don't know why it needs to be $8. For I guess it's a double size anniversary issue for being 25, but there is a pretty fun Scotty Young with all these little Doom bots. Yeah, like I said, it's just kind of fun. So if you're into it, there it is. I don't know if it's $8 though. If this was a $4 cover, I'd probably buy it. $8, maybe not. But for $4, I do kind of like this Bjorn Barons, if I'm saying his name right. This Ghost Rider is a pretty awesome cover. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool image. Catches the eye. And for $4, I'm interested in what's going on in 18. I might have to start reading this again because I dropped off. I don't know what the heck's going on with Ghost Rider these days. But this cover has me intrigued. Now, I was going to put these in the regular cover section, but I decided, you know what? Even though we don't have a ton, I'm going to start a whole new subsection. Yeah, you guys know I love categorizing things. So we get a new category we will be using when it's appropriate. Cheesecake covers. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the female form and them on covers. And here we go with a couple that caught my eye this week, starting with a book that could have fit in a number of categories, including my reading list, new number ones, regular covers, but we're going to put the art germ here for Batman and Robin number one on our starting off and kicking off our inaugural cheesecake cover segment. I just like it. I'm even interested a little bit, I guess, in a foil version of it. It's unnecessary, but the cover art's so good. If I had to buy it in foil, I probably would. That's all I'm saying. There are other covers as well that aren't of the cheesecake nature, so I'll just show you those while we're here. So you got the regular cover A of Batman and Robin, and there's another cover C, and then we've got a black and white version on the 1 in 50. There's also a 1 in 25, and another black and white version on the 1 in 100. I should have flip flopped those because that's where the images were, but you guys get the point. As far as sales go, these are not selling anywhere close to ratio, so we're all well under. It's a Batman title after all. They're usually heavily printed. It's one of DC's biggest selling properties, so I don't expect any of these to really be hitting the market on fire this week, but I wanted to show you the covers anyway. Continuing the cheesecake cover section, though, we do have two from our next title. I think that'll finish us off. I'm surprised there weren't more this week, but this is what I've got. So Scarlet Couture, the Munich file. We do have this Derek Chew. As you can see with the assets being shared there on the cover. There's another recolored version of this cover for this book. I don't know if it's like a ratio, like a low ratio, like a 1 in 5 or not, but there's another cover. And there is also a B cover here as well. So, kind of interesting. But that's going to wrap us up. Maybe we'll have more next week, but I think at this point, it probably will have enough to fill out a segment when the week demands it. But we're going to wrap up with a couple of incentives. Not too many here either, because we've covered a bunch as we've gone through the other sections. But just on their own, incentives almost made the cheesecake category. This Decal Storm, I like it. It was close, but I didn't know if it really fit completely. So we'll just put it here. 1 in 25 on X-Men Red number 15. This is already pre-sold pretty well for $80 recently. 30 and 50 for this 1 in 25 as well. Asking prices, it's cheap. There's some cheap ones, 17, and there's expensive ones, 80. So we'll see where this one falls. Again, as the week goes on, we don't know where it's going to end up, but it's a cover that caught my eye and thought it was a bit interesting. Something else I considered putting in the not great section is this next title, because I just don't see the need for these adaptations, but we're getting it anyway. We didn't need it for Mando. We probably don't need it for Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but we are getting comic book adaptations for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show this week. So, yay? I don't know. It is what it is. We'll be argued first appearances and all that crazy stuff spitting out of these, but it's realistically, they're adapting the show, which we've already seen. Nothing new here. I don't really care for these, but it is what it is. Actually, this one's mismarked. This, I believe, is a 1 in 25. It's not a 1 in 50. Has the Inquisitors on there, so I could see some interest being for this one. Again, 1 in 25. Sorry, shorthand. Short on time this week. Rushed. Didn't get everything done. I know it's not up to snuff. Don't worry, I'll have everything in line next week. But pre-sales on this one, there have been some cheap copies, only $15, and there have been some copies that sold for like 30. I think this will probably hover around right around ratio. Don't expect too much more out of it, but asking prices right now, when I looked, were 30 to 50. I think those are still just kind of fishing prices, but we shall see. More focusing on the continued use of the Virgin 1 in 100 on Star Wars books. So here we go again. Not the greatest of choices, I don't think, for a Virgin, but it is what it is. So you'll get all the arguments of hard to find, low print, how many shops ordered 100 copies of this, which are all true, but we have no real solid information on how many copies might exist. So just be cautious. But if you want to go out there, shell out the 130 at a premium of a 1 in 100, go ahead because somebody else did it back in August. But that was the only one I found. Meanwhile, a lot of high asking prices, which is probably why there haven't been that many sales. 150, 250, $300. Again, I get it. A lot of places might not have ordered it, but apparently all these people ordered it so they could get it. And now they're trying to cash in because they got 100 copies of Obi-Wan Kenobi that they're not going to be able to sell just so they could try to sell somebody on this 1 in 100. To me, the very definition.
Let's go fishing.
But hey, you hobby how you want to hobby. You want to gamble on buying books like that, go for it. I think that is not the wisest move, but hey, you do you. That said, again, I don't love this cover. I don't like this title. I don't like the idea of adapting the show into a comic. And I could care less about the 1 in 100 personally. But I am curious enough to see what the market will do with it. Doesn't have to be all about me. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on this. And that's all I got for you this week. So hopefully you found that helpful. Hopefully you found that entertaining. Hopefully you found it informative. And hopefully you didn't mind that it was a little bit late. I will try to get back on schedule next week. But as you guys might know by now, I do have a new column that I'm working on and a new show that will be coming your way. So working that into my current schedule has been a little bit tough, mixed in with Baltimore. So more on that maybe tomorrow. With that said, thank you for all the support. Thank you for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate you all, and I will be back soon with some more content. All right, later.